Well. Welcome back to Krown's Crypto Cave. It is a beautiful Saturday over here in Helsinki, feeling nice and bright and sunny just for Easter Day, the good old bunny day. So happy Easter to all the people celebrating out there. Of course, happy Passover. I believe it is Passover, at least, for all the people celebrating that. And for all the people celebrating 420, well, happy fucking 420 to you as well, my friend. Of course, do want to mention yesterday, hey, all of that drama, all of that nonsense, actually did speak with the man himself, Sonny, right after the stream on voice chat. And I only have positive things to say. So I'll just leave it at that, man. Leave the drama for other people. And of course, with that said, let's get down and deep and dirty into some very serious magic internet money business right here, right now, as we teleport into the live scene. And Bitcoin hinting once again, actually knocking on the door, and perhaps we might even be able to catch this one live on stream, as Bitcoin will have a chance to break my area and for myself confirm to take position for an upside move, likely towards this 5,700 region. Of course, it is not confirmed as of right now. In fact, it's about $2.50 away, so a lot can happen between now and the next 30 minutes when this could or cannot be confirmed. But hey, if we will likely be witnessing this, because I'm sure that I'm just going to probably talk my own fucking head off. So we'll be able to watch this together. Anyways, with that said, of course, the daily, we are knocking on the door. The blue 377 exponential governing price action still right above, ever so present, right around that 53.10ish, 53.15ish level. And we are, and right here, right now, we do have a chance to actually take this out. If we even take out the high of yesterday, I would say that that would likely incite continuation just by the nature of that. Of course, so I would be more. I do believe it's more appropriate to be making this decision on the 3-hour dildo time frame. And I do apologize for all my studying today. I know it's fucking annoying, but I did not get enough sleep last night as well. There is something weird with the country of Finland because it's so high up north that like the sun doesn't go down and the sun gets up really fucking early, so it makes it really hard to sleep, which is fucking awful, to be quite honest. I really dislike it. Anyways, going on over here into the 3-hour dildo time frame, and yes, this decision is only to be made on the 3-hour dildo time frame. We are right here, right now, at the top of the blue box territory. I officially have it at, if you want to be super conservative, 53.20. I know that some people are calling it 53.30. You know, again, whatever you want to call it, it's right around this range. What I'm looking for is something very specific. I'm looking for a nice perk up in volume, and I'm looking for this area to be taken out. We do have a nice orderly drop off in volume overall. So yes, my first interpretation on the lower timeframes is still that of an ascending triangle, which would imply more bullish resolution, as these things are more likely to break up to the break to the upside more so than the downside, you know, when we're talking about statistics over time. But I've seen every pattern break out every goddamn which way, and it is a weekend right now. But with that said, if we actually do confirm above this area, I likely will put on a position. It'll be very small, and I'll actually do it on my on my streamer account right here, so we'll be able to actually watch together. And because this video is not live, I think that's completely kosher with the way that it goes down, because I've been speaking with a lawyer to actually fully explain this. I've been speaking with a lawyer of what's like okay to show on YouTube and what's not okay with trading activities, because you don't want to get into that whole, you don't want to get caught in that whole discussion of like, is this financial advice or not? And I believe if it's not live, I think it's okay to do. I believe it's okay to do. So perhaps we might be watching this together. And right here, right now, Bitcoin being very resilient in this area, very constructive on the lower timeframes, as you do see everything just kind of float onwards and upwards. So yesterday we saw something very interesting, right? We saw this move up above 53.50-ish area right after stream. Now, after that, the sell-off was swift and did happen, but overall, look at the volume signature on this whole move in its entirety. Very lackluster. And what does that tell me? It tells me that this is just to be considered one piece of the whole, and it's hunts both ways is what it's trying to do. It's getting the more over-aggressive people on both sides, the people who want to short and the people who want to long prematurely. And right now, it is a time to be a little bit more on the relaxed side of the price action, because all it is right now is just a waiting game. With a little bit of patience, we can certainly have actual confirmations on this. Looking at the 3-hour dildo time frame, we do have 3-hour Stokes perking back up, and I do like that. I do like that look on it. That would likely incite some continuation, and when we're right at a major resistance like this, that's typically what I want to see. That's typically when I see major supports or resistances being broken, is when those Stokes start to turn around and have plenty of room to run if they want to. Right at those critical levels. So this is a setup in the way that I look at it. So actually timing a move, this is where I start to get interested. Going over here to the 4-hour dildo time frame, same thing. We see the 4-hour Stokes perking back up, and look at this. We are following a nice uptrend line going right over here, which We could. Why does it keep on putting in an alert whenever I do that? That is so annoying. Holy shit, man, my eyes must look so tired right now. I'm just looking at the camera. Holy shit, yeah, I did not get enough sleep. But yes, we are being walked up on this trend line ever since 12th of April. Sorry, 11th of April. So it's actually been the last over a week, almost 10 days now, ever since right over here. And you can see these lows being put in right here, and then once again we've kind of hit this trend line right over here, which is quite a significant jump from our prior lows, actually, which would actually be quite a positive thing. So again, all lower time frames are looking good to me. Lower time frames look like they want to continue on. 4 hour has regained the exponential on this and is crawling its way backwards, back and upwards and onwards. We did play out the bearish divergence yesterday right over here. The move, again, not too crazy. I mean, just from 53.20 all the way down to 5,200. I mean, $100. I suppose that's that's tradable. That's what, like a 1% move now, or 2% move. I mean, that's fine on leverage. You can make some money that way for sure. I haven't really been too gung ho about trading those, but we do see overall higher lows within this formation. And with that said, I mean, it's my first interpretation on the lower time frames is that of an ascending triangle. Now, does that mean that? Sorry, let's actually talk about targets first. Okay, so targets on this formation, I would be looking a little bit overhead, right around 5,700, give or take a few bucks. Whether it hits 58, whether it gets stopped at 56. A lot of people are looking at this area. Everyone's got their eyes on the same thing. Everyone's talking about the same thing. So typically, when everyone's talking about the same thing, what happens? Well, we either overshoot it or it gets front ran. And I would overall be very cautious and do not mistake my more bright look on the lower time frames as being overall very aggressive, because I'm not. In this area, I am very cautious, actually. And while I do believe that Bitcoin can very easily take another leg up over here, I do believe it's time to be restrained, as when we do look at the higher time frames, we do see, once again, we are really running into some major resistances. Yes, we are right at that daily 377 exponential. Yes, the daily RSI is going to be hinting right at this exponential moving average right over here. But more importantly, even if Bitcoin does have a move up, we're likely to create some divergences. Now, I am making, I'm making assumptions before they happen, which is very bad to do. But it's just, you see it enough times where it's just like, okay, just yes. Again, I'll just leave it at that. With that said, do I think that Bitcoin, my point is that I'm looking for the next top, whether it's here or whether it's, a little bit higher around that 57, give or take, is kind of irrelevant to me. The idea is the same, with a potential for a nice a nice long trade, in the interim, which I do believe would be worthwhile. I mean, that's what, if we take all the way up to 57, 58, that's going to be a 7.5% move. Yeah, that's certainly worthwhile. So yeah, when it comes down to that, keep your eyes on that. We do see daily Stokes getting right down around here, and we do see them kind of weaken. And more importantly, you do see that we do kind of have a trend line right here at the, I guess I already have it in there, right at the edge of the bullish control zone, which I don't know why these are on there. Get off. Right at the edge of the bullish control zone, which just by the nature of it, a lot of the time you will see defense played around there. So I would expect bulls to actually turn that around if we are going to defend this area, and it does, and we do get the break sooner rather than later, meaning very possibly today. Now keep in mind this formation overall does have an apex in early May. So how full are we within this formation? I would say about about this time, if we zoom it out, we're definitely more than 50% full. Are we 69% full? Because that's when things start to look a lot more likely to break. I don't know if I'd say that just yet. It's getting close, though. It is certainly getting close. I'd feel a lot more comfortable if we were over here on the 24th of April and hinting at a breakout or a breakdown, by that matter. And just because right now we are we are close to the resistance, it's more appropriate to be talking about a breakout. Of course, this could also break down. Don't get me wrong. I've seen every pattern breakout every fucking which way. The way to trade it is the same. That's my point. As a trader, the way to trade it is the same, and you don't need to know what's going to happen next to make fucking money. That's my point. You don't need to know what's going to happen next in order to make money. Why? Because the way to trade it is very simple. If we break 5,300 to the upside, taking the long trade. If we break this rising trend line, which is marking off our more bullish scenario to the downside at about 5,100, well, at that point, yes, there are targets lower, but ultimately I would be at the very least looking towards 45 and likely 41 at that point as well. with lots of bounce potentials on the way. So again, right now we are certainly closer to the resistance. So that's what I'm gonna be talking about during this video, as we will have a chance to actually confirm it by in the next 22 minutes? Yeah, 22 minutes. So keep your eyes on that, and we should be able to watch this one together. Going over here to the 2-day, of course, always got to remind myself there is major resistance that we're currently brushing up against. Again, the 200 exponential just confluence with this area, this 5300-ish area, very fucking important. If we do take a leg up, look where our 200 simple is aligned around, actually 5900. Or let's actually go to Bitstamp, make sure that it has enough history. Yeah, about 5900. It looks like they both got it about right. Now here's the thing with the 2-day. We actually do have 2-day Stokes potentially crossing down, and we will be getting another tick on this later tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern time. So if Bitcoin does take a leg up, it will unravel back up, and well, that would likely just be the floodgates for that next move. And if we do end here or lower, they will cross down. So again, with a little bit of patience between now and tomorrow, there should be a strong signal on which one, or on where the next trade is going to be for what I believe is likely to be a downside trade, which I'll be showing some more information very soon. Not only that, but we do have 2-day RSI working its way above. It's not until we actually break this exponential on it where I start to actually look for another big breakdown. You do see that we are working on a nice rising channel on the RSI as well, which very appropriate, something like this. And typically these things do break onto the downside, but that doesn't mean that we can't have another move up. That's my point. It's a delicate situation right now, because I have to be very careful with the way that I explain things, just because it's very easy to be misheard. So yes, going over here, the 3-day, we do see 3-day 200 exponential again right above. But look at this, man. Look at this. Our last 3-day dildo closed pretty fucking strong, to be fair. This was bought up right off of the 89 exponential, and we are going to be confirming a quite bullish cross between the yellow 21 and the green 55 exponential on the next tick, which is going to be happening which is going to be happening on the 22nd. So yeah, tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern time. That's also going to come into confluence with the weekly, which there are more important things on the weekly. But hey, they all kind of run together. My point is, still here, it's we are getting extended is the thing. So if Bitcoin does get that next move in, I am ultimately looking to be a seller, is my point. I'm going to be offloading this long position that I've been holding for the past like 4 weeks now, ever since 39, where is it? Yeah, 39.32 on my streamer account. My main account got a little bit better at 3900 even. And also, while we're on here on the 3-day, I want to show something that I haven't been showing recently, and this is quite new. There's going to be a few new things during this video, which I really want to get out, and this is why I'm very cautious in this area, whether we take a leg up here or we top out right here, which is this, the jewel, the classic jewel, which is starting to signal red, as you can see. Now, the jewel very rarely on the 3-day gets into this more critical zone, above this 80 mark. If you have access to the jewel, keep your eyes on this, because historically speaking, this has actually been a perfect indication when it starts to signal red for major tops and also major bottoms when it signals green. Now, of course, this is a great one, because this is our own personal indicator. So I know that there's been a lot of fucking hearsay that people always hit me up and they say, hey man, everyone started talking about this after you started talking about this. I mean, I don't own the rights to other indicators, but I do own the rights to this one. So other people can't steal this one, and this is kind of the secret weapon right now. And you do see that it is taking red. Now, keep in mind though, it can take red for a while before it actually does play out, but it is perfect in the history of Bitcoin. So what I'm looking for is this to get a little bit more. I mean, because this is still pretty, this is very newly red. I mean, as you can see in the history of Bitcoin, when we do put in major tops, it stays red for a while, and when we even put in small tops, yeah, it'll put in just red for a little while. So that could also help us judge how likely the counter move is going to be. If it stays in the red for a long time, likely going to be a pretty severe move, as you can see right over here, as you can see right over here, as you can see. I mean, this one's actually not too impressive, but the move was impressive, to be fair. My point is, though, again, it's another cautionary signal, which I will be following. Of course, I'll be sharing this on my channel as always. It's my pleasure. But hey, I mean, these things do happen while I'm not making videos as well, and be tending to my own life later. As man, I'm so fucking tired, so I'll probably be sleeping. More importantly, when we do look at this though, we do see that three-day RSI is going to be working its way up on, into the more critical zone. But here's the thing: is that if Bitcoin does fail to make significantly higher highs and really bring that RSI above, it's going to be a lot easier to make divergence on that. On top of that, we do see 3-day Stokes get way up here as well. So we're seeing all the higher time frames getting extended, and that offers up the opportunity for a nice counter trend move, which is very important to understand because. Sorry, the important thing to understand about that is that when I say that, I'm not saying that Bitcoin's going to make new lows from this area. I'm just saying that I am looking for a nice bit, the next big move in my opinion is likely going to be to the downside. Based off all this, does that mean that I'm bearish right here? I mean, on the lower time frames, no, not really. Does that mean that I am? Does that mean that I think Bitcoin's going to make a new low from here? No, that discussion would only be have to we would only have to have that discussion if we do break below 4,100. That's when I open that discussion back up as a trader because remember, this channel is focused on the perspective of a trader who is less concerned with things like actually fucking bottoming and more concerned with things actually trending and in tradable opportunities, of which we've had a few. Less than I'd like to in the last fucking 6 months, man. This trade, nice. Wow. What else could I have been doing with my fucking time? Jesus Christ. Anyways, with the 3-day Stokes, we see them get up all the way into this area. Each and every time that Bitcoin's gotten into this area for the past year, it hasn't been too good for the bulls. Calling our 10,000 top in May, calling our 8,400 top in August, and of course the 20,000 high in 2017. But in a bull market, it does operate differently, as you can see right over here. It'll stay in that zone for a while, and as you can see, defending above the bearish control zone for a long time as well. So again, are we at a critical juncture? I would say so. Yes, I would certainly say so. But still, lower time frames could easily pop. That could allow this to get a little bit more mature, and then I'd be looking for another big move, likely to the downside. So that's kind of what I'm thinking right there. Let's go over here to the weekly. I want to show a few new things with the weekly. First things first, weekly Stokes, again, way up here into the more critical zone. We will begin a new tick on that tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Not only that, but more importantly to me, if we do close the weekly like this, these moving averages will converge on each other, and that will make me a much more of a believer in a move higher, as these two moving averages did have a bearish cross right over here, the green 55 and the cyan 89 exponential, which, if they do converge, that would suggest that trend is weakening and strengthening to the upside. If they do diverge, if we see them diverge tomorrow, which would likely be accompanied by a move back down below 5,100, then that would incite that the trend is strengthening to the downside. So again, gonna be really, if you want to be a little bit more safe in SAFU, I would be waiting for full on confirmation tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Time when we do get the weekly set in stone. Not only that, but we do get the weekly RSI right over here. Again, another new thing, kind of get into the same zone that we found, that we found support on during the 2015, 2016, 2017 bull run. Sorry, right over here. We actually got it right. And to me, just another thing saying, hey, on first pass, likely to give you a little bit of a stutter, which, did we already have that? To be fair, you could make the argument for that. We already had it right over there. But again, just an area, a zone to be cautious in nonetheless. That is my point. Whether you're bullish or bearish, it's time to be cautious, not aggressive. Okay, now for something else new. Let's take off the exponentials and let's put on the good old Challenger bands, which, again, not my favorite tool, but they are signaling something right now. Which, could it be this easy? Could it be this easy? It might just be this easy right now, which... It's quite embarrassing, it's not embarrassing. A lot of the time, it's the simplest thing that's a fucking, that's the right thing. The Challenger bands, we are rallying off the top Challenger band. You did see that, we've closed our first massive girthy green dildo above the top Challenger band on the first week of April, right over here on good volume. And then the next week we came back, retested it, and held above it. That is actually a very good sign. This week we're going to have a chance to actually close more of a body above it, and I would be looking for continuation this week if we can close above it and hear this out. The top Challenger band is all the way at 5,100. So what also coincides with 5,100? The bottom support of the proverbial ascending triangle in the lower time frames. So that area, that 5,100-ish area, is so fucking important. If that area gets taken out, I do become bearish for a move back down, extremely likely to 4,500, and then very likely to 4,100. do I want to say 41, maybe 4150, 4200 if you want to get super specific. But for right now, we are using this as support and are rallying off this. Keep in mind, at no point, the last time that we actually trended above the top 1,200 bands was over here in 2017 essentially, and that is not a. That is a pretty strong signal of overall trend with regards to this time frame. So again, another thing that I do, that would make me think that we do get some continuation here, or would be on the side of that. We also do see that it is interesting to me that in 2014, the first time that we did take out the median 1,200 band right over here, which happened all the way in late March, which was also kind of the impetus for me taking, once again, this position right over here at 3930. Was followed up by a move outside the top 1,200 band, but it was quickly faded. Do we see the same thing right over here? Perhaps, but you can see that this one was faded immediately, which is typically what you do see on a fake out. You don't see it hang around the top and consolidate above the top. That's actually usually a pretty damn strong signal. So that also means though, if we were to close this next weekly dildo below the top 1,200 bands, then I would immediately be looking for a move down to those targets that we just spoke about. So again, very important right there, just because we are at a critical juncture right now. All right, there's another major thing that I wanted to speak about. What was it? Yeah, I guess we'll just go on to the monthly, and it'll come to me soon. Monthly right over here. Let's take off the 1,200 bands, put back on the real shit, and there we go. Sorry, I shouldn't say that. If 1,200 bands work for you, fucking use them, man. I'm not a big fan of them, but I do consult with them every now and again to confirm my biases. There we go. So monthly right over here, very interesting, right? We are right at the yellow 21 exponential, but this is to be judged on a monthly dildo time frame. If we close above this 21 exponential, I will be looking ultimately for a move higher based off the monthly schedule, which could take some time for it to populate. That would open up a run into the 6,000s, maybe even test 7,000. In fact, we can talk about some targets if that were to happen right after this, which I'm actually which is also another new thing to kind of speak about. But that is making an assumption. If Bitcoin closes below the 21 exponential, which is around 5250 by end of month, which we now have 10 days left until the end of the month, which a lot can happen between now and 10 days, of course. Crazier things than $100 moves have certainly happened in that time frame. Then I would once again be looking for another sweep, likely of this area right around the low 4,000s. We'll call that, and that's kind of how I'll refer to it from now on. Bringing up our oscillators, we do see monthly Stokes actually hinted across the upside, and if we do end here or higher on the monthly, they will confirm across the upside. We do see that the monthly Stokes actually did do a pretty damn good job of calling the momentum in June 2015. However, keep in mind, this is June 2015. What happened in June 2015? We popped up right over here. We tested the 21 exponential and we rejected from it. And came all the way back down to the low side of the range. So that also makes me very, very, very confident that, hey, if Bitcoin does reject from this area, we probably do come back down to that lower 4,000-ish area and sweep the lows once again. Does that mean that new lows are going to be put in? Nope, we don't make new lows right over here. But it does offer up a nice fucking trade potential as a move from here to that, 4,200-ish target would be about 30%, almost 30%. Definitely tradable. Certainly tradable. Something that I'd be interested in. So let's go talk about now what the target would be if we do close above the 21 exponential, because I do believe that I have a way of getting this out now. And let's go over here to the BLX index, which I'll show right here, right now, and put on my drawing tools and refer to this as the good old matrix. All these dotted trend lines represent something very important in Bitcoin's history. They represent a support trend line for a parabolic market cycle, each and every one in Bitcoin's history. And let me just make sure that I'm recording. I am. My mic is working. Okay, good. Very happy about that. Jesus fucking Christ, man. Oh my God, not a disaster. Not another disaster. Okay, so starting off with this first one right over here in September 2010, anchored right there, and it anchored also in November 2011. It was broken in 2012, and guess what? This trend line becomes a highs, the governing factor in your 2013 and 2014 market cycle right over here. Then we create another support trend line for this next parabolic market cycle anchored in 2011 and 2013, and that was broken in 2014 right over here. 2015, beginning of 2015, and guess what? That becomes a highs right over here on a test very, very soon right after that, by the way, later on in 2015, and then once again in our 2017, 2018 market cycle right over here. Then we create another support trend line for this past market cycle anchored in 2015 and 2016 right over here. That gets broken on the move back down below 4,000, which also broke the critical 200 exponential, this purple move average right over here. And where would that be coming in around if we were to have this as a governing factor for our next move? 7,100. So if we were to move on to the upside, I would be saying that that certainly offers up a move, perhaps all the way up to the 7,100-ish area, which also would coincide with the 618 Fibonacci retracement from the taken as a Fibonacci retracement from the whole move prior. Now, keep in mind there are, do I see any more confluences with this? Not so much. But hey, I do think that that's quite interesting, just kind of, from a more forward outlook. So keep that in mind as if Bitcoin were to close the monthly above, that's kind of where I'm looking towards higher, mid to high 6,000s, maybe even 7,000. I do not believe that Bitcoin will get above this. That the trend has been that calls the highs, but 3 times make a trend, and we only have 2 times right now. So to be fair, actually technically not a trend. All right, so Bitcoin 5 minutes and 54 seconds away from confirming above this area. Can it do it? Can it actually do it? Oh my God, I think it's probably going to do it. I think it's probably going to do it. Still, sitting on my hands right now. And again, this is why, there's no reason to FOMO when you see these sorts of moves over here. Yeah, you might not catch the move all the time, but you don't need to catch all the moves to make a fucking living, man. The play yesterday was sell this wick and then, play it as a scalp. You had like what, $100 move? Yeah, that's tradable in the lower time frames, and it happened rather quickly. So Bitcoin was quite generous with that. And you can see that when we do approach this area right over here, as we are currently right now, with all of our lower time frames starting to line up, it does offer up the potential for an actual move. So we do see, once again, let's actually go down to the hourly. Hourly Stokes up. We do see 2-hour Stokes up. We do see 3-hour Stokes up. 4-hour, 5-hour wants to cross back up. 6-hour, actually down right now. 8-hour, looking weak. 10-hour. Back up, 12-hour up, and daily is looking weak. So, there certainly is potential right now, and that is what I really want to get out. But more importantly, from the higher time frame perspective, I am looking to be a seller on the next move, more than likely. Again, mediated by the 3-day jewel. So if you have access to the 3-day jewel, keep your fucking eyes on this. Now, what is confirmation for the 3-day jewel playing out? I'm glad you asked, as I have this conversation with myself. And it's quite simple, actually. All I need to see is the light blue oscillator V top, basically out of here. Just like you see over here, just a very violent move down, violent move down, violent move down, violent move down, violent move down. Well, that's when it calls it tops pretty much to the fucking T. Remember, this is a 3-day dildo, so it does, each and every dildo is three days worth of price action, but it actually calls literally the top right when it V's right here, which is December 15th, 2017. Where was that? Literally on this dildo right here at the top at $19,891.99. Let's just backtest a little bit more. What about this area right over here? Do we call the top right over here? We do on the 22nd of May, which I don't know if this one actually gets it as granularly. 22nd, God damn it, now I just 22nd of May, so right over here actually does get it damn well, but it does call this move down, to be fair, but it does not, it does move up afterwards. It's not until we actually come back into it and get out of the critical zone. So I need to see a V and then out of the critical zone. That's when it calls this beautiful move right here, all the way from $3,000 to $1,800. Okay, that's something I'm much more interested in, as that is a 40% move. And let's actually measure these out. So 41% move, 42% move. This one right over here to the low, 71% move. Okay, so that's quite significant. We have a red marker right over here calling it this top. How much is this move? We do have about another 40% move. Okay, not bad. What about this one right over here? A very lackluster one, but is a little bit present. I'm not going to really count that one. That would have been a bad one. That would have been an example of where I guess it doesn't work all that well. What's up, Michael Swires? Good to meet you, man. Sorry, it's not that it doesn't work well. I mean, you actually do see that there is a little bit of a move there, but it's nothing like the other ones. This guy right over here, pretty much perfect, right at the top, and we call a move all the way down for about a 36% move down. This move right over here, let's actually go. Sorry. Okay, that's why it didn't work, because I was using GDEX. Yeah, let's go on over here. Yeah, okay. So Bitstamp has more price action history, so you have more to go off of. So yeah, we do see, we saw that one over there. Let's measure this one out right over here. This wick down to that area, about 42% move as well. We get this green right over here. Again, the greens have been perfect on all the lows. Not on all the lows, not on the super prior ones, because it needs more time to actually populate them, but but everything 2014 and onwards calls this top right over here. How much was this downwards move? We see about 66%. The time before that was this high right over here. Calls this downwards move 73%, and the time before that was this downwards move right over here, another 50%. Okay, so on the lower end, about 35%. On the higher end, 70%. So let's just kind of do that out and see what that would correlate with at the current moment in time. Now, this is where I have to be careful with what I do, because if I call a top right here, it's going to be significantly different answer than if I call a top at 57, 58, right? But let's do it for both, and let's just kind of mark it in the middle and take 40% off, a little bit more of the conservative estimate. If we were to take 40% off, where would that put us right back at the lows, actually, from this area right here, which personally speaking, I think that we're about to break up. In fact, I can see that we're ticking up right now, and I probably got hit on my long. Let me see. There it is. Yep. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm long another 30. So I didn't get filled on my full order, but I did get filled on most of. I got filled on 27,250 contracts. Yeah, so still got 22,000 more. Well, whatever. And we are 1 minute away. 1 minute away. Come on, baby. Show me your power, Bitcoin. Show me your fucking power. Okay, so now let's kind of take it if we worked our way up to 57, 58 first, which is going to be all the way over here. And let's see, what would 40% look like off that? That would bring us down to about 3,500, which would be around the 200 simple on the weekly, which is very, very important to me, because I don't start trading for new lows. I do not take trades looking for new lows until Bitcoin actually breaks the 200 simple to the downside. If Bitcoin breaks the 200 simple to the downside, yes, that's where I immediately take trades, not just talk about trades, but take trades to the downside, targeting around 2,500 to 2,000. All right, Bitcoin's going to give it a run for its money at the last second of this one. So did I prematurely do this? 1 minute. Yeah, we are above, and that means that the 3 hour has set itself in stone. What does it look like? It looks like a good closure to me. I do think that this one probably does work its way higher. This is the highest dildo close that we've seen in this whole formation, by the way. This one closing at 53.27. This one closed at 53.18.5. Yeah, and that's what did this one close at? 52.95. Okay, yeah, so nowhere near. Yeah, I do think that we're going to break it up here. And so, yeah, do I think that we're going to see a move all the way up here on a weekend? I mean, shit, man. I wish that this wasn't happening on a weekend, because I really dislike weekend action, right? As when I do look at CMEs over here, CMEs do look good. CMEs do have a good chart. They did have an extremely strong close on Thursday, right above the 200 simple. And we do see that the Stokes are constructive, rallying off, using this formation to kind of rally off of. So even if the Stokes came all the way down here, I'd expect a bounce, is my point. And it's really going to depend where we are with regards to tomorrow with price action. So tomorrow is when Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern time, CMEs will open back up. So if spot is opening above, if spot is above where CMEs closed on Friday, then I'd be looking to be a buyer on the gap fill. If Bitcoin were to come back down to where CMEs closed on Friday, which they closed at 53.25, they had a very strong close on Friday. If spot is trading below where CMEs closed on Friday, then I would be looking to be a seller on the gap fill. But right now, spot is actually trading above, about $10 above, $15 above. We are trading a little bit at a premium, so understand that. Also, this is kind of a lazy way of doing it. It's actually not the right way. What I really need to see is where the CMEs open. Do they open up or down, essentially, and then just play the gap on that. But we can use spot to kind of judge where they're going to open, likely, right? So yes, they did have a pretty damn good close on Thursday, and RSI did take out the exponential on this guy as well, so it does offer up the potential for this to work higher. And again, the CME chart's just a lot more simple. I know a lot of people been talking about this recently about excluding weekend data. This is why I use CME charts. They're much more clean. I mean, I think that this is infinitely easier to read. We have an ascending triangle right over here, measure move pointing to 58. There you go. There you fucking go. Weekly had a decent close. Looks like wants to continue on. 58. Where's the next resistance? 58. I mean, it's we have the 50 exponential right over here, and also this horizontal right over here. There you go. Again, it doesn't need to be, you don't need to make it any harder than it needs to be. And looking at that sort of a chart, does certainly offer a perspective. So yeah. Okay. So let me just talk about this trade for a second. I do want to discuss how I'll manage risk on it. If we do, if we do what's it called, if we do take out this area right over here, if we do take out 5,300 back to the downside, I will get out of this trade, take the I don't know 10 what price again. I think I had to buy in like 53.10 or something. I did front run myself, to be fair, just because this was looking good to be quite honest. And again, a very small position. I don't even have a position on my main account. I don't care for it. I'm looking, the next big position I'm looking to have is actually a trade to the downside. Okay, cool. Let's go check out. We've looked at GBTC a million times. We've looked at CMEs. Let's go look at longs and shorts, which we do see both sides jockeying for position. We have seen about 3,000 shorts being gained on Bitcoin in the last day. That is significant. So again, just another signal to me, kind of saying be patient, as people are getting a little bit more gung ho, a little bit over aggressive in my opinion. When Bitcoin's kind of hinting at this area, but it also does mean that, hey, we are rallying off of this blue box territory, which has called all of the major dumps for the past year, except for the last two times that we got in this area. So again, it's not, it's not a perfect signal, but it would be more on the side of the bear. It would be more on the cautious side of the bear, saying, hey, be looking for that next major high, most likely. Longs, we've actually lost a few longs as well. Longs are distributing right now. We're moving up as longs go down. That's actually not the best sign. I'd want to see longs add right here if they're gonna break this resistance. It's actually what I want to see. Again, not a life or death sentence in and of itself with both those metrics. Finex is ultimately not as important as something like CMEs now, which if we want to talk about CMEs, we can talk about this for a second. What's up, Edward Wu? Good to meet you, man. Let's go over here to bring up the, what do we want to bring up? Bitcoin COT. We can actually look at the positions of retailers, institutional traders, and professionals on this indicator, which if it could populate up, that would be even better. Come on, baby. Show me your fucking power. There we go. Okay, so let's put institutional traders in white. Let's put professionals in pink. Let's put retailers in green. And we can see that retailers are very long. Institutions are actually letting go of their shorts right now. Professionals are flat. Do I have anything to say about this? Not too much. We don't really have enough data to really be going off of. The last time that we saw this, though, to be fair, it was a dump from about 8,400 down to 6,000. But one time does not make a trend, although it is interesting. So yeah. Okay, what else do I want to talk about? Yeah, let's go do the daily checkup on the MVT signal. I'm curious what that one's saying, because again, there's something very specific that I'm looking for. And going on to the MVT signal right here, right now, we do see that the MVT signal is still well above this moving average, which to me, it's only when the MVT actually breaks the moving average to the downside where I start to look for that next big trade to the downside. That has been the trend in the past. We'll go over one example just very briefly right now, as I know it's fucking annoying. I've done this a million times, so I'll spare you the details on it. But I'm looking for something very specific. I need to see the MVT signal essentially, signal red. Again, there's more critical zone right over here, and then it's not until we actually break the moving average where the downwards momentum begins. Now, it's not going to time the ultimate move perfectly, but that doesn't matter. As a trader, I'm looking for momentum and to time and to get the opportunity cost, and also just be on the right side of the trade without having to withstand another fucking $10,000 move, which we saw as soon as this thing signaled red. Bitcoin was at like $11,500. It rallied all the way up to almost 20,000 after that. That's not a good thing in and of itself. So we do see it break it right here, which actually times around $19,220, which is, as far as I'm concerned, that's a fucking top. On top of that, then we have to see all these other things in place, which do add confidence onto that signal playing out, which I need to see the daily Stokes crossing down, tick 1, crossing below the critical zone right over here, tick 2. I need to see daily RSI crossing below the exponential right over here. This one happens to have bearish evidence, although that is not needed as well, and then get below the critical zone right over there. So tick 3, tick 4. And then, of course, with regards to the daily jewel, I want to see the daily jewel get into this more critical zone and then cross the critical zone to the downside right over here. Tick number 5, getting most of the move as well. So again, it's not about catching the whole move, in my opinion. It's about catching most of the move and being a fucking trader, not a moon boy, not a doom boy, but somewhere in between, as the gangs are not what I want to be caught in right now. So yes, I'll leave the fucking, I don't want to talk about the fucking golden cross again. Holy shit, man. My God, this is like the biggest meme right now, because so many people just don't even know how to trade the fucking golden cross, and they're talking about it. And those are the exact people who for better or worse. I mean, that's who the market, that's who the people who move the markets are going to be directly going after that kind of person, who's uneducated about that sort of fact, which I'll leave out of the discussion right now. Let's go down and check out the top shitcoins right now, just very briefly. As the stream's probably already been long enough. We got Mr. Buterol over here. Mr. Buterol, I do believe, is going to be taking a leg towards 182.5. We hit our first target of 177.5, and this one looks constructive. Looks like it wants to continue on. Daily Stokes are up. 12 hours right at resistance, to be fair. Actually, 12 hours right at resistance. So, I would be a little bit more careful with that, a little bit more cautious. But daily and weekly look okay to me. They do look okay. The only way that I kind of take back what I say on Mr. Buterol is if we actually tick back down below this area. Where would I say? Yeah, this area right over here, 170.5. If it breaks 170.5, then yes, I would be bearish on it, looking for a move much lower. 160 would be on my first target, and then 149.5. But right now, this is constructive. Let's go over and check out Mrs. Litecoin. Mrs. Litecoin constructive as well. Looks to me like she wants to take a stab at $85. If she breaks above $85, I'd be looking for a move towards $89, $90, somewhere right over here. But again, more importantly, first and foremost, be looking at this area. What does the daily look like? Daily looks okay. We regained the 10 simple, yes, and the price is going sideways as the Stokes come down. That's a good thing. That just allows the oscillators to reset while very little damage is being done. I do like that overall. But again, the areas to trade are the same. If you want to go down to the lower time frames, as long as $82.5 is held, I like it, and I would consider this constructive. If $82.5 is violated, then I would be looking for a move ultimately down here to about $77 once again, and likely lower over time down to 68, 69. Let's go check out the other top shitcoins. What about Cardano over here? Cardano resting on our 1500 support. I do believe that this one probably does balance here. I don't have a strong opinion on it. My strong opinion on it was when we was coming down to 1500. Now I don't really have a strong opinion. What I could say about the weekly is the weekly does look like it wants to take a little bit of a stab lower down to 1400. So perhaps it's going to be that if Bitcoin does rally, this one does not want to follow. That's very possible. What else we got? BNB count. BNB extremely strong, hitting our $25 target pretty much to the T. 5 cents off. That's close enough for me, man. I do believe that this one is going to consolidate here and probably break it and probably go into blue sky breakout. This looks constructive. This has been the strongest one. It is. I do think that is decoupled from the general market and overall a force to be reckoned with, regardless of your thoughts on CZ, which I mean it's not about CZ. It's about Binance as an exchange, not a fucking person, man. I very rarely talk directly to a person. It's more about like an idea or something or something like that. I mean, like Binance is an exchange. If you're gonna have an exchange just offering up all these fucking scam coins and all that bullshit, then go fuck yourself. Your coin though, really strong, really good, man. I don't trade any of this shit, but hey, weekly is about to have a phenomenal close. As long as if this thing closes anywhere above $22.5, we're extremely likely to see more continuation, and I do believe that does happen. Zcash, what's Zcash doing? Going to follow the rest of the market. Probably takes a leg up towards 74.5. Bcash. Bcash salvaged itself yesterday. Did it hit my target? No, it did not. I did not get my target hit of 285.5. I'm going to be wrong on this one. This one looking okay as well. Going to follow the rest of the market. If and this is why I always say, hey, if Bitcoin does take a leg up, the rest of the market gets to follow. So it's always more appropriate to be looking at Mr. Bitcoin. But I would be saying that we do have something like this going on. And it looks like it's going to ride the coattails. Tron Cash, what's Tron Cash doing? Overall weaker. Tron Cash wants to come down to me. Tron Cash wants to come down to 2.5 cents. 2.55 cents. This one's certainly on the weaker side, contrary to the rest of the market. Weekly support all the way down at 2.45 cents. This is actually really bad for Tron Cash. You don't want to see this right now, unless we have some sort of fucking Jesus rally or Easter rally back above 2.75 cents. I'd be bearish on this one, and it's going to destroy its potential bottoming formation in favor of a move lower towards. If it breaks 2.5 cents, then I'd be looking towards 2.2 cents. Things need to happen first. I do think it's a little bit interesting that thing, isn't following the rest of the market when we do see most other things kind of hinting the same sort of thing. Neo, what's Neo doing? Going to follow the rest of the market. I have no strong opinion on this one. No strong opinion. Yeah, it's gonna. This chart's harder to read than the rest of them, man. It's I'd say lower time frames want to pop up probably towards 11 and 30 cents. But if Bitcoin takes a leg up here, NEO's gonna fall. EOS Cash, same thing. If Bitcoin takes a leg up, I'd be looking at a target right here at 561. If 561 gets taken out, I'd be looking at another move towards 590. Let's see, Mr. Ripple me nipples cash, and what are you gonna do, Mr. Ripple's nipples? Is he going to be contrary to the market? Definitely looking weaker as well. But as long as Mr. Ripple is below 33.5 cents, I would be very skeptical of it. It is certainly one of the weakest ones in the market right now, alongside of the other one. I think it was Tron that we looked at. It's very strange. Again, I don't have a strong opinion on it here. My strong opinion on it was being short from this area at 8,000 down to, first my target was 67. Then we actually took another leg down to my more aggressive one, which I did not think was going to get hit. To be fair, the Satoshi pairing is atrocious, absolutely atrocious. We got front ran off the 21, right at 65, 66. I was looking for a move towards 67. But, at the end of the day, that's close enough, right? Resistance right here, 33.5 cents. It does look more bearish to me, but I have a hard time. I just, more often than not, if the rest of the market's going to rally, so will this thing. Although it does look more bearish, to be fair. Monero Cash right at resistance, right at the 200 exponential at about $71. Daily Stokes can be crossing back to the upside. I like it. I think, yes, it is right at resistance, but I do think that it takes it out. And if it does take it out, I'd be looking for a move likely towards here at around $81, about $81. Again, going to follow the rest of the market. It's not gonna move on its own, but if you see Bitcoin move, likely gonna move with it. Stellar Cash. Stellar Cash looks better than Ripple right now. That Stellar Cash looks like he wants to rally up. I'd be looking at this area right over here, right around about 12 and a quarter. So yeah, if that's gonna happen, probably Ripple's nipples rallies as well. Let's check back in on Mr. Bitcoin, and yes, the 3-hour has set itself in stone. We are above. Volume's still not there, so I'd still be waiting on that. But overall, I do believe it's a game of risk management. So if you can manage your risk, hey, I think it's a fair trade. I mean, I've shown you my positions. Once again, I am exposed long. I'm exposed long right over here from 39.30, and I'm just going to be letting that run for now. So, yeah, and sorry, and let me just explain how I'm going to manage this. As long as Bitcoin's above 5,300, I'll hold that. I'll hold that open long exposure. As long as we're above about 53. Technically, if you want to get super specific with it, I could wait all the way down to 52.65, but I'd rather just reposition if that were to happen. As again, it is a weekend. There is still a lack of volume on this move, which I really want to see massive volume on a breakout if it's going to be legitimate. So that would be that'd be a little bit of a cautionary signal. When you do have failure to breakouts, that's typically when your rising wedges are put in. So keep in mind that the higher time frames are still signaling caution. And it could, if Bitcoin does essentially put in a fake out right here, that will be the first initial signal that all the things that we looked at on the 3-day, on the weekly, on the monthly, and on the daily are likely to play out to the downside. So again, that's what I'd be looking at right now. Again, very small positions right now on a weekend, on a holiday weekend of all things. So with that said, I want to wish you a happy day and a happy holiday for all the people celebrating out there. Take care and see you soon.